To the WanderLearn show. I'm your host, Tapon. This is my most popular annual episode. It's about my predictions, and I'm going to be making my 2026 predictions. But before I do that, I always review my 2025 predictions. I had 8 predictions, and speaking about the number 8, this whole thing started about 8 years ago when I made my annual prediction 8 years ago, and I started to keep this once a year prediction ceremony. And I did it because I think it's good to eat some humble pie every once in a while, to remind yourself that how fallible you are and how wrong you are about so many things. And being wrong is great. That means that you're learning something. Okay, so let's look at my 8 predictions for 2025 now that we're at the end of 2025. Prediction number 1 that I made was that we were going to go into a big recession. That didn't happen. Some signs of a recession, that kind of stuff. You know, the unemployment has ticked up. General growth has slowed down. Tariffs are kind of in the mix. But overall, I was wrong. So I'm giving myself 0 points for that. Prediction number 2 was also kind of pessimistic. I said that the unemployment rate would double. It did go up, but it didn't double. Maybe it went up 25% or so. But I was wrong about that too. So 0 points for that. Now came my third prediction that I made for 2025 was that Bitcoin would go up maximum to $150,000, and it would lose half its value overall. It began the year at around nearly $100,000. It went up to $125,000, and then came collapsing down to where we're at the high 80s, 88,000 or something like that, the current price. If you look at the graph of where it went, I predicted it was going to go up to 150 max. I said that that's the outer reaches. It went to 125. And then I said it was going to go in half its value down to as close as 50,000. It went down to 88. Well, actually, it went down to nearly 80,000 or so. Didn't go down to 50,000. But the general idea was right. If you look at the basic ideas, we're going to pump, and then we're going to fall, and we're going to end below where we were at the beginning of the year. In that sense, I was correct. And most of the Bitcoin analysts and all these other people were talking about $200,000 Bitcoin, $250,000 Bitcoin. There's a few people crazy saying $1 million Bitcoin. Plan B was talking about $500,000 Bitcoin. And all of them were spectacularly, utterly wrong. So that's why I give myself half a point. Don't you think that's fair? I think so. I predicted that the S&P 500 would drop 1,000 points in 2025 and dip below 5,000. And guess what? In April of 2025, I think it was April 7th or so, it was down to 4,800 or so, the S&P. So I was correct. I did say it's going to drop 1,000 points and it was going to go down below 5,000. So hey, give me a point for that. Here's where I don't deserve a point is I predicted a ceasefire in Ukraine. We didn't get it. We did a lot of talk, negotiations, back and forth, but in the end, I wouldn't call it a ceasefire. Maybe I'd give myself 0.2 points. That's what ChatGPT or Perplexity.ai gave me, 0.25 points for that, a quarter point. But I'm not going to give myself even a quarter point, give myself a big fat 0. And here's one prediction that I did nail, my 6th prediction, which was that the bromance between Donald Trump and Elon Musk would collapse. No more bromance. And indeed, around halfway through the year, it indeed collapsed. I was actually surprised that it lasted as long as it did. These guys have 2 huge egos. And anyway, that's over. And the 7th prediction was that the wacky campaign promises that Donald Trump made would not be fulfilled in 2025. And I listed 5 specific campaign promises. And I knew he was going to try to make them happen, move in that direction, but he was going to fall way short. Let's look at those 5 ones real fast. He said that he would deport 13 million people. Nowhere close. He said that he would have a death penalty for drug dealers. Nowhere close. He did promise a 60% tariff on Chinese goods and 20% on all imports. That's the only area that I would say I'm kind of weak on. He said he would abolish the Department of Education. I said that wouldn't happen, and it hasn't happened. He tried. It didn't work. And he also said military action against drug cartels. Now, some people could say that the military action against Venezuela counts, but I think most people wouldn't say that. So I asked Perplexity to be a fair judge on this, and Perplexity said no. At best, maybe one of those 5 promises. So I'm going to give myself a full point for that. And finally, I predicted, my 8th prediction was I was going to finish my book about Africa, and I failed for that. That's the one thing I could have controlled, and I failed. All right. So overall, how did I do? 3.5 out of 8, less than 50%. I suck big time. Big time. That's my worst scoring ever. Never scored less than 50% correct. So I'm embarrassed. I need to make it up this year. Here we go. 2026. What are my predictions? I'm like a addicted gambler who, like, when they don't win, they double down and they bet even more. So I'm going to do something stupid like that. I'm going to say once again, well, I predicted recession in 2025. I'm going to predict it again. And let's see if I'm right. I'm doubling down. One of these days I'll be right. If I just keep predicting it every single year, I'll eventually get it right. But anyway, let's see how that works. I'm predicting a recession. The SAM rule indicator was triggered recently, just a few days ago in December of 2025 as I'm making these predictions. That could be a sign that maybe a recession is coming. I just think with the tariffs, we're just due. Recession. I predicted that didn't matter whether it was Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, we're going to get a nice big fat recession. I thought in 2025, but I guess it's going to happen in 2026. We'll find out. Now, here's a positive prediction. My second prediction is that renewable energy will overtake coal as an energy source. In other words, you're going to see more power, more terawatts generated by renewable energy than the whole coal industry. And it's going to be a good game changer. Finally, coal is going to be kind of taking second place after renewables. So I think that's a great bullish sign. Let's see if I'm right. My third prediction is that Bitcoin will revisit its 300-week moving average. For those who don't follow Bitcoin, every single actively traded asset has a moving average. And that kind of represents usually like a floor of how low the price can go. Bitcoin historically has traded always above its 200-week moving average. But recently, in the last 5 years or so, it's touched or crossed the 300-week moving average. And I think we're going to go back down there again in this year, 2026. My fourth prediction is 1/4 of all the cars that are being made, lightweight cars, not big trucks, are going to be electric. 1/4. Now, a lot of people, especially in the United States, say, what are you talking about? Donald Trump is going to remove the subsidies. The whole industry is going to tank when that happens. Yeah, maybe you're right. But guess what? The United States is not the world. There's plenty of other countries that are adopting. I'm right now recording this in Argentina, and I see electric vehicles. I have taxis that are picking me up in electric vehicles. And of course, in China, they're making amazing electric vehicles that are really much more advanced and cheaper than some of the vehicles that we have in the United States. So I think there's a big promotion for that. And I think Europe is going to pick up more electric vehicles. So 1 in 4, that's my prediction. We'll see if that's right. Now, my fifth and sixth predictions are that the Democrats will take over the House of Representatives. And my next prediction is that the Republicans will hold on to the Senate. So currently, the Republicans hold both houses of Congress. Well, in the midterm elections in November, they're going to lose the House of Representatives, but retain the Senate. A company called Strategy, MSTR, which basically is a Bitcoin treasury, saw its price go up to about $543. $543. I predict it's going to go down to $100. It's highly leveraged, and a Bitcoin bear market strategy will suffer greatly. And right now, it's already fallen quite a bit. I think something like maybe 65% or something like that, but I think it's going to go down to 80% from its high. My eighth prediction is that we will fly by the moon. That is, Homo sapiens, human beings, Americans specifically, are going to fly by the moon in their Artemis 2 program that they're having, which is great. We haven't been by the moon, that close to the moon, since 1972. So it's about time. It's been over 50 years, fellas. Let's go back to the moon. And we're gonna succeed in doing that this year, 2026. And the other thing that's gonna happen this year, guess what? My ninth prediction is that I will finish my book about Africa, the unseen Africa. So those are my 9 predictions. What do you have to say? What are your predictions? Put them down in the comments below. This is Francis Tapon, encouraging you to wander and learn. And that ends this episode of the WanderLearn podcast, where we explore travel, technology, and transformation. If you'd like to see the show notes with links to what we've talked about, go to WanderLearn.com and click on this episode. If you'd like to connect with me, just remember F. Tapon. That's my first initial and my last name. ftapon is always my social media username. My website is ftapon.com. Do you want to leave me an anonymous voicemail where you can make a comment or ask a question? Then go to speakpipe.com/ftapon. Furthermore, if you'd like to get rewarded for supporting my projects, then go to patreon.com/ftapon. That's where you can pick up some remarkable rewards for as little as $2 a month. Now, 5 quick favors. Number 1, subscribe to the WanderLearn podcast. 2, download it. 3, share it. 4, review it. And 5, sign up for my newsletter at WanderLearn.com. Our theme music was composed by Eric Stratman. This is Francis Tapon, encouraging you to wander and learn.